Ich lass mich heute Abend blicken, ich komm gut geschmückt in den Laden geritten. Alle tanzen, die Damen sind echt entzückend, ganzes Backblech voller Sahne.
Oh my gosh, there's so much drama going on that I didn't even have time to finish my get ready with myself. And then my best friend called, and I just left my makeup like this. Is probably dry. So you'll have to get ready with me while I do the tea. Because as you know, when your best friend calls, even if there's nothing important going on, it's very important to say nothing, because that's what best friends do. So now I'm getting back to getting ready, and this might be cement. So I might have to reapply. I'll show you how to get out of this kind of a fix in case you have to your face and an emergency comes up. I'm going to play with my androgyny palette for the first time, but I'll get ready while we spill the tea about what's going on. Because if you are not on Twitter, you are missing a whole lot of drama. I think that's, where a lot of videos are born, is on Twitter. So anyway, first off, I always start with this e.l.f. primer. You probably have other good ones. I want to try other ones, but this mineral infused face primer, it's the one e.l.f. product that seems to just go on and on and on. And if you find that you are in a situation where you let your makeup dry on your face, I don't know, you just forgot, or there was a fire alarm or something happened, you can actually add a little face primer, because it gets hard, at least this stuff does. And then a little more, I'm applying it with this, a little more Wet n Wild, because it was no longer wet, but it was really wild. And we put this on. So here's what happened. And I will put some stuff up here. Looks like Casper. I'll fix that, don't worry. It looks a little kabuki at first, but I have very pale skin. Okay, so James Charles put up a tweet to Marlena Stell of Makeup Geek, and it seems she was offered a documentary by Netflix, and he was pissed. His first tweet was something like, "I'm livid," and then, I get an idea, and then somebody steals it a month later or something like that. And this, this really exploded, because a lot of people, even James Charles supporters, are like, doesn't take a day or two to get a Netflix deal for a documentary. My feeling on that is, have you been on Netflix? I could do a documentary about this. Get ready with me. You throw a stone on Netflix, it lands on some crappy documentary, frankly. I did Craigslist for 30 days. I ate this for a week. Or, I decided to just eat puppy chow for a month. Join me on my journey. So, yeah, a lot of people have taken issue with that now. Some people are going to think she stole it. Some people are going to think she didn't. Here's the thing. There's such a divide sometimes. There's just such competition because so much is at stake. James Charles is 19 years old and just moved into a mansion. I'm pretty sure my apartment when I was 19 would fit in his garage. By the way, this stuff I can't do without pause from drama. This is called 3106 Spotlight. Yeah, number 3106. I gotta find out who puts this out. I'm going to try and find it and link it above. This is just a white kind of a foundation that I can't do without. Not applied my darkening of my eyebrows, but before I do anything, I love to put this white on here. You can actually put it over your whole lid, but I don't. Some people do that to get even less fallout, but I already have some stuff on my eyelids for my makeup. But I love this stuff, and you can actually put it on your lips too after you put your lipstick on. That's another way I use it sometimes to make my lips look bare. So anyway, this looks quite pale, pasty, chalky. It blends, but then I also take a little bit of a longer one. This is Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint. It's moisturizing and it plumps the skin for 24 hours. Please plump my cheeks, because I want to have that Hollywood pillow face. This is a really light color, but it's actually darker than my skin. This is Natural Beige 60. And I am not naturally beige, so it tends to look a little sallow on me. But if you buy the wrong color foundation, of course, you can always mix it with another foundation, and then it kind of works out. They blend and the color changes. I can even see it looking a little sallow. But with the lighter color, you can kind of work with it and blend it until you get your desired color. My face is looking like I need some fruit and hydration. It's face plumper. My face is plump enough. I'm 50 years old. So James Charles tweeted this stuff out. He might change his mind and feel later like he maybe went a little too far. He could retract it. Twitter is, I'm just putting a dab of that on for inspiration. Twitter is a very impulsive place, isn't it? Like, people get these thoughts that they might normally filter. And by the way, I have a lot of gorgeous brushes. Love my eyebrow brushes, my eye brushes. I have 3 different sets of brushes that I love, but I still keep these, a bunch of generic ones of these, sometimes for emergencies, sometimes when you want to apply less and get that kind of control that you can have with this. They're cheapy, but they come in handy, especially if suddenly you want to put another color on and you don't have a clean brush, or you just don't have one that has the stiffness that you like. I'm about out of this Mabelline Brow Drama Pro palette that I love, and I think it looks similar to Jen Gerard, but her makeup is such quality that I'm probably going to try that next. And she's friends with Jeffree Star, so I'll have friendship on my face. That's what I think of when I wear her lipsticks and his eyeshadow. There's friendship on your face. I've got a lot of extra time on my hands. So, anyway, this whole thing is, sometimes I find myself taking sides and I think, who gives a crap, Kerry? None of these people care about you. They all live in mansions. They're young and rich and they're in the boutique community, right? And you think they're backbiting because it's so competitive. And James Charles just said something about drama channels also, which is so freaking offensive. And I'll put some of those tweets up there too. He basically said, he meant to say most, but he's saying drama channels come for big beauty channels. The smaller channels do. They could talk about them all day, and then they come for them, and it's like, really? Where'd you get that from? From all of those drama channels he's watching? Yeah, because he knows. He's definitely, I was saying to a friend of mine, he's young, and he's definitely at that age where he can just see something and decide that that's empirical evidence of the majority, which is a silly assertion, but he's young. He's going to make silly assertions. I don't know any 19-year-olds moving into a mansion, do you? Moving into their own first mansion? It's bound to make you a teeny tiny bit out of touch. Okay, that was a mistake. I'm using e.l.f. Blush palette, and these are dark. It says dark 6DO1BL, and you can see they're kind of like wines and mauves and that kind of thing. But I have a little bit on this brush. That's okay. That's what blending's for. There's no problem that we can't solve with wipes and tears and starting over. Yeah, we'll get back to that. Sometimes I just give it a quick pass and then go back. I got to tell you, this is a little hard to talk and do this at the same time. Maybe this is good practice. Look at this, my androgyny palette. I haven't even put it on yet. What colors are we going to use? The sky's the limit. I'm wearing a blue shirt. And one thing I've learned from Jeffree Star is don't be afraid to play with color. Don't be afraid to mix colors that you wouldn't think would go together ordinarily. That's what these tests are for. So this is my absolute favorite eyebrow brush. I always use this for the crease, and it's a professional eyeshadow shader. And I really just think they came in as like professional. I think I ordered them on Amazon. I'll try to find a link for these below. But this one I love because it's got that just enough of a hard edge that you get good control with it. And I usually like to start with my crease color. I don't know if that, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to do it. I'm going to start with Poison. No, does that clash? It kind of does clash. So I'm a little afraid to play with color. You know what? Just for shites and giggles, I'm going to go with Swallow. I'm sure he's talking about a bird. He was going to go with Finch, but then he went with Swallow. Uh-huh. Could have been worse. I don't want to have to go into Ulta, Do you have the color Bleep Stain? Okay. He gets creative. He's not afraid to be edgy, right? Oh my God, this color is gorgeous, and I haven't even begun to blend it, but I'm in love with it. It's so pigmented. So pigmented. Wait for the reveal. Wait for the reveal. This is when you learn just how pigmented something is and how much you don't need to overdo it before you blend. Probably a good rule of thumb is start with a little less, and then you can always add more later. Brush it out, work it out, blend it, blend it. And that's another reason that I love this white thing here, because if I over pigment something, or if I haven't blended it, I can go make another pass with this white stuff that's very creamy and blendable. But as it happens, in the blood sugar palette, which I also have, there's a really good creamy white. A lot of powders don't work, that well if you're touching up something you've overdone, but that stuff is amazing. And this is going to be kind of probably a boring look for this compared to what I could do, but again, it's kind of distracting. I'm talking about drama and I'm trying to do my eyes. And I've left a tab in my brain where I left off, but hopefully this isn't too back and forth for people. James Charles is mad that somebody else got the Netflix documentary. Now here's a couple of things to consider. One, he ain't broke. He's not hurting. Obviously he's extremely ambitious, done very well for himself, which I think he will continue to do. I think he is absolutely fantastic with makeup. He's not a fluke that way. So he deserves a lot of his success. He obviously feels quite salty over that, and I really think he should have refrained from going off about that, because somebody else getting an opportunity doesn't mean they stole it from you. You just look so jealous, and there's no reason to be. How many documentaries have you seen about food online? 500, 600, knives over forks, fat, sick, and nearly dead, king cow. I mean, just go king corn. I mean, they just go on and on and on. And there's always room for another one, is my point. And if you have something to say, and if you have a documentary to do, he certainly has room to do that. He has the connections to film it on his own with his own camera equipment. When you film a movie, you tend to the studios rent those cameras, and they can cost quite a bit per day. But you can also do a documentary with, a lower grade camera and still make an excellent documentary. They show the camera in the picture there that was posted earlier. And there's no reason why he can't himself get his own documentary going and sell it to Netflix or get meetings. It doesn't mean it's the last one there's going to be. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't always buy another palette. Why do we always buy another palette? Are there any new colors under the sun? Maybe, maybe not. But we want a new palette because it makes us feel good to get one. So if James Charles has his own following, there isn't a reason in the world he can't have his own documentary. Why he can't talk about his life in the beauty community, how somebody so young became successful the way he did. He can still do that. It's the same thing with fashion. It's the same thing with any art. There's always room for another artist. And honestly, I think you'll find that by being genuinely happy for people who could be perceived as your competition and looking at it as it happens the way it's supposed to, these things do happen the way they're supposed to, by looking at it like that, he may find that that opens doors for him too, and that makes him more pleasant to work with, or you just feel better when you liberate yourself from this ugliness of thinking that somebody else got something that's yours, and that you were supposed to do that. I used the frosting, by the way, and a little bit of the deja vu. I use those colors, and now I'm going to go around my eye with Dominatrix. That's before I'm going to add my eyeliner, and I really would love to add lashes, but I don't have any, and I have to go to Sephora and have them put them on for me, because I would think that they'll do a better job, and they'll look better and feel better. I've only put on lashes a couple of times, and I love the way they look, because though I have kind of decent lashes, they don't read on camera. Even when I put on a whole bunch of mascara, in real life it'll look like, I have spiders on my face, and on camera you can't even see them. And that can be a good and a bad thing. I should probably use my Canon D70 that I have. for this. I did use it for that little clip in my last video with the doors, opening the doors. That was the good camera, but I need to switch over to that. So I'm just playing with this. I'm not sure how I would do the end colors. Just playing with these colors right now, and they're really a lot of fun. And sometimes with Jeffrey stuff, you can layer them and go, okay, well now how will the purple look? I like this brush too, because I usually wind up getting my wrist filthy when I brush it off, and then I wipe it off later with makeup wipes before I'm done. I make a mess. So I'm going to put some of this purple in the crease to see if I like how it blends. I really like cool colors together, and I do. I like this in the crease, this purple. I'm going to try and blend it out as much as I can. So as this drama unfolds, when we last checked with Twitter, James Charles was pissed, and you know what? He ruffled some feathers of some smaller channels too, who were like, "I beg your pardon, you are not speaking about all drama channels." When he made that blanket statement saying that drama channels can talk about bigger beauty channels all day long, and then claim that their channels aren't growing because of X, Y, or Z. Who the hell is he talking about? Like, I really think he pulled that out of his ass. But when he said that and people called him on it and said, you might not want to make blanket statements like that, he was like, well, I didn't have enough room. I meant to say most. So James Charles is spending a lot of time going over smaller channels drama. Don't you think? Couldn't you just see him spending his time that way? I'm sure he does. I'm sure he spends a lot of time getting evidence to back up his claims. I really think some of these big gurus need to get the hell over themselves. They get to a stage where they just think there's no accountability. They can say whatever they want, and they don't really have to, it doesn't really have to be based in truth. They can just be impulsive. And that's what Twitter is. Twitter is about being impulsive, isn't it? Old ass bitches like me, we think a little bit more before we post stuff like that. Please forgive me for doing it this way. I'll try to do it this way. I'm doing this all wrong. Remember the day I put the swatches on like this instead of behind my head? I'm a work in progress. I'm just a small channel, claiming racism and homophobia because I'm a straight Irish girl. Otherwise, I'd have 1 million subscribers. It's just simply that. I don't know how many times you've heard me say, it's because I'm Irish and German, isn't it? It's because I said Hausfrau. You all know that I'm German in ancestry. And so you're racists. You're racists. I just think that it was a very weird thing to say. It was a weird thing to say. I picture James Charles just like, I'm gonna just say this. Like the filter in his head is always like, just say it. Oh my God, sisters. The drama channels are all hating. Most of them. Just most of us. So there, I don't think I'm done with that, but for now, that's what I got. I'm gonna put on a little Gerard. Is this everything nice? This is everything nice. It always smells so good, her stuff. And it spreads so evenly. But I'm going to take a little license, and this is where I love where my little thick or sharp little brushes come in. Because you can do this. And go a little bit over. This is a really tame daytime look for an old ass bitch. And now I have friendship on my face because they're buds. Okay. Oh yeah, I like this brush too. It's like a small round. This is BS Mall. I think my favorite brushes that I own are from BS Mall. Links below. And how the hell do I get? It takes me 5 seconds to minutes to get my desk disgusting and destroyed. Oh, so at the end of the day, I guess this would have been a better video if I could get myself to care more about these people I'm supposed to be talking about in the beauty community. I just think there's room for everybody. I think you will live a happier life if you're happy for people when stuff goes well for them. If you go, wow, that's good for her. I hope she does well. If she's a horrible person, then I hope she gets what's coming to her. But I don't really know this woman, and from what I've seen her a couple of times and stuff, and she seems really nice, pretty genuine. Uh, like I said, I've only seen a couple of things of hers, but she seems pretty nice and pretty genuine. Either way, I have no reason to dislike her. I'm certainly not going to dislike somebody just because they're doing well, and I wish it was me. Because if I did that, I'd hate everyone. Everyone has it better than me because they don't have to wake up every day and be me. So, but who's bitter? I think that it's great. Life is short. You shouldn't begrudge anybody anything. It could be that it's easier to say at my age because I've outlived the wants and the silliness of my youth. I'm not like part of that rat race anymore. I'm at an age now where I just want to give back, you know. I still want to get, but it tends to not happen, and I'm used to that. So I think I'd rather see, I really like to see good things happen for people, and I like to get inspired by that creativity. I don't want it to be something that makes me feel there's something I'm not getting, because there's something wrong with being friends with all the fabulous people you wanted to be friends with and moving into a big, beautiful house, making all of your dreams come true, and then being really livid that somebody else had something happen to them that you wanted to have happen to you. It doesn't mean that it's over and it can't still happen for him, right? I mean, I don't see why that's the case. I haven't seen evidence of her stealing his work. If anybody thinks that I'm wrong, I'm very much open to being proven wrong. I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that, and by the way, this is a highlighter from B Dumpling Beauty. I got this when I saw Rich Lux promote it. So he's got some selling power because I see him with stuff and I want to get it. And those people who are like that, they can sell product. They're worth it to the PR list. Anyway, I really feel like he shouldn't feel like that infringes on him somehow. But let me know if I'm wrong. Just put a little highlight here and there and everywhere. And if you think that this person stole his idea. I can tell you that these things don't happen overnight. Meetings take a while. My son is up for a TV show now. Can't talk too much about that. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. A lot of the pilots my son has filmed never see the light of day, but they're still fun. The point is, these decisions aren't made overnight. They take a while. I went to Panera today. They take a while. So I just don't believe she would like knocked on Netflix's door a month ago and was like, I have a great idea. Let's do this. And she probably connected with some people. And there's there's always stuff involved in the documentary. There's some kind of product placement, something that appealed to the network in some way that made them want to get on board with her. Doesn't mean they won't get on board with somebody else. Heck, you can do a documentary about the beauty community wars. There'll always be something that can evolve from that and to turn into something else. See, did I blend well enough? I need the lashes and yeah, more blending. But still, with this look in this lighting, I don't know if it's doing me justice, but I think in general, for going out, this is a pretty good look. Got a little bit of teeny tiny bit of fallout, but not much at all. No, that actually was part of the mascara. So this eyeshadow that I just put on, this androgyny eyeshadow, you can see how pigmented it was. I hardly had to use any, and it all went on so quickly, and none of it wound up on my cheeks, and I didn't have to redo any of my foundation, which is good because sometimes I do. Now I got a smudge on here, but that would be Jeffree Star approved because he likes when makeup gets messy, which I thought that was a pass to not be OCD about how clean my makeup area is, but I'm still a little OCD and I'll probably wipe that off. So let me know what you think. This was an impromptu get ready with me, and maybe get real salty with me and talk about what's going on in the community. I wanted to jump on that hot tea while it was hot and while I could remember what was going on, remember my thoughts. Did I lose time again? Beep, 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 beep. This just in. That's my drama newsroom sound. In the time it took me to do this look, there were updates on Twitter. In fact, James Charles did say he'd like to do his own unbiased documentary. Not very well hidden shade there. His documentary would be unbiased, and he invites Netflix to work with him. And frankly, I don't see what's stopping him from doing his own documentary. He's got the connections, he's got the means. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.